Hello everybody, good afternoon and welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge and we are live for Arsenal against Newcastle in the Premier League. And can I just say, well I can, what an end to the season we're going to have. Not in the title race, not in the relegation race, but in the race for Champions League football. It is on because Forest are beating West Ham 2-0 here with 10 minutes to go. And if they do win that game, which they're looking like they will, then we will have a final day where it's all going to pop off. You'll have Chelsea on 66, Aston Villa on 66, Nottingham Forest on 65. And that's not to mention that we might also have Man City in jeopardy as well. So it's looking really, really good. Of course, Newcastle can take second place as well, MD. So we'll get the league table up in a minute, but don't forget we're sponsored by Manscaped again. 15% off and free worldwide shipping. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. Free delivery and 15%. So check that out as always. And we will give you a little bit more detail on that in a moment. But team news, no Isak for Newcastle apparently. I haven't actually looked at the team news myself yet, but let me have a little look here. Okay, Arsenal, Newcastle. Yeah, no Isak, and he's not on the bench either. So don't know what's going on there. Is he not allowed to play against Arsenal, his future club? I doubt it. But yeah, I mean, look, we'll talk about that in a moment. Let's talk about the real stuff. Let's talk about the top 10 of the Premier League, and let's have a look at that as things stands now. Forest are winning 2-0 against West Ham. There are only 8 minutes to go, so it looks like they're going to win. 65 points for them. 65 for Man City, but they've got a game in hand against Bournemouth, so they're probably looking okay. Aston Villa, 66. Chelsea, 66. Newcastle, 66. Newcastle's final game is Everton. Chelsea's final game is Forest away. If Forest beat Chelsea, they'll finish above them. If they draw with Chelsea, Chelsea will finish above them. But if Villa beat Man United, they'll finish above them. We've got something here in this Premier League. We've got the connotations. It's a groin issue for Liam. It's a groin issue for Isak. We've got the permutations, the connotations, the alterations. Forest had to go and win at West Ham today. It makes you think what had happened if they'd actually won at Leicester. They'd have another 2 points. They'd be in the box seat. But they've given themselves a chance. And I'm looking at that final day and I'm going, oh, I like the look of that. Chelsea Forest, Villa at Old Trafford. I mean, Villa could swoop in and get it all. I don't know, what would Villa need to happen? Villa would need Forest to win or draw and them to win. Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good. SWJ said, I heard it's a hip injury for Isak. Oh, if he's got a hip injury, my sympathies and condolences are with him. It's a bad thing to have, I tell you. I mean, I've washed the car today, but I am in a lot of pain. A lot of pain. But less talk about that and more talk about this. Let me just reply to Kev on X. There we go. Forest are actually on the attack here. There's still 7 minutes to go. We will definitely give you the updates on that. Now for second place. Do you think Newcastle will actually win? Look, honestly, let's have a look. Well, the league table's there. I look at that league table, and I've been telling you for weeks that Arsenal will finish second. I've been telling you for months that Liverpool will win the league. And I told you at the start of the season that the 3 up that came up will be the 3 that go down. So Arsenal will finish second. Their final game of the season is Southampton. I genuinely think I could put a Sidemen charity match team together and beat Southampton. And we could put bloody XQYC in goal. We'd still beat Southampton. So Arsenal will beat Southampton, and as long as they win today, they will get win or draw, and they will get second place. So Arsenal will finish second, and they deserve to finish in second. I mean, if Newcastle were to go past them, that would be incredible. So I think Arsenal will get second. I think they'll get a result of some sort here today. Obviously, Newcastle are capable. They've had a great season. They're going to be in the Champions League next year. Well, they're not in the Champions League yet, actually, are they? I suppose we can't be too dismissive of the fact that Newcastle could drop out, but I think they'll be absolutely fine. Just to confirm that team news for you for Newcastle, by the way, I've seen it. Let me give it you. Pope in goal, Shaw, Botman, Byrne, Murphy and Livramento. They're playing a 3-4-3, by the way. It's amazing how... What a goal. Oh, my God. West Ham. I got a goal back. Bowen. It could all be going to shit. Oh, no. They could get back here. Oh, good goal by Bowen. It's 2-1. He's volleyed it in. And there is time for West Ham. I tell you what, I fancied 2-2 today. I really did. Lovely goal by Bowen. The way he kept it in as well. Look at this little flick. Comes back to him outside of the... That's a lovely goal, that is. What a touch, says Ed. It was. This is a great goal. Look at the way he gets it back to himself. Oh, my God. The technique's magnificent. It's world class, that. It's one of the goals of the season, that. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. The touch to set it up was magnificent. And you know what? The really interesting thing here is that when you look at the league table, Nottingham Forest haven't actually won. Have only won 1 in their last 6. You wonder why they're not going to be in the Champions League. It's sort of because of that, isn't it? We'll keep an eye on that. There's still a few minutes to go. I want Forest to win because I want an interesting final day. What would a draw do? I think a draw doesn't get them quite back into it, does it? Their goal difference is not good enough, really. So even if they beat Chelsea, they'd be on 66 points. But I think they have got a better goal difference than Villa. So maybe it's not the end of the world with it. Well, the end of the Champions League hopes, probably. Anyway, look, we'll keep an eye on that. Let's go back to the team news. You've got Pope, Shaw, Botman, Byrne, Murphy, Bruno G, Tonali, Livramento, Barnes, Gordon and Wilson. No Isak. He has got a groin issue. But Arsenal, we haven't spoken about them. Arsenal, could they bottle second place? Well, their lineup is Raya, White, Saliba, Kivior, Lewis Skelly, Odegaard, Partey, Rice, Saka, Trossard, Martinelli. Forest just want a free kick here, and they might want to just slow this down a little bit. There we go. It's funny, isn't it, how Newcastle have used the 3-4-3 in the last few games, but you've still got moron pundits saying that the 3-4-3... I mean, this is true. I say this with complete and utter honesty, and I'm sure you can back me up on this. There are journalists and ex-players who speak to the public saying that Amorim's system won't work in the Premier League, and there are literally other clubs in the Premier League using the 3-4-3. That's the level of punditry in the UK in 2025. The 3-4-3 will not work in the Premier League, and yet we've already had teams win Premier League titles with it, and we've got 3 or 4 teams playing it on a weekly basis in the Premier League. But that's what they pay pundits to say. This system won't work in the Premier League, and we've already got it. Did you see the clip where you wrote off PSG and said they're getting further away from winning the Champions League as Rashford tracks back for Emery? When did I say it? When did I say it? The context is key. If I said it this season, then, you know, it's a bad take. We can all have them. If I said it before this season, it's a good take, isn't it? Because they were getting further away until they decided to get rid of their superstars. Oh, look at this. Look at this on the West Ham. Yellow cards. West Ham players all around the referee. Shouldn't be in the referee's face there. Apu said you said it 3 months ago. When would I have said that, though? After what game? I can't remember saying it. If I said it, look, I don't get everything right. A bad take is not the same as saying, well, the system won't work in the Premier League. Hi, Mark. Hope you're well. How's your hip? Any better? Not massively better, Greenfire. No, not really. How many minutes are we going to get added on here? Surely not 10. Tadebo's been booked. Are you going to do the City game on Tuesday, says Alex? I don't like doing Man City watch-alongs at the Etihad. I find them really boring. They haven't told us how many minutes have been added on here. 11? Oh my God. 11 minutes? What the bloody hell is going on? PGMOL are a joke, aren't they? That's like another game. That's really harsh. I haven't seen 11 minutes get added for ages. VAR took 7 minutes on the first goal. Well, I suppose that's fair then, isn't it? I didn't know that. Okay, just while we're waiting, well, we'll keep that on. Obviously, we've got the Arsenal game on too. We're sponsored by Manscaped. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. Welcome to Manscaped onto the channel again. If you don't know what Manscaped is, here's Chris Wood. Terrible, terrible touch. But he's done all right there, and that's gone out. The ball went out. Surely that went out. Anyway, I'll focus on you lot. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. You've got the beard trimmer for your face. 20 different lengths on that. You've got the lawnmower for down there. Delivered to your door. 15% off and free worldwide shipping with the code FOOTY. Links in the description. Scan the QR code. Loads of good stuff they've got. They've got the handyman as well if you like to have a shave while you're out and about. And also they've got the weed whacker for up the nose as well. So loads and loads of great products delivered to your door with Manscaped. Big shout out to them. I use them on a daily basis up there and down there. So check them out. Thank you very much to Manscaped. Very intriguing last few minutes of this game here. I've got a feeling West Ham might get an equaliser with that long to play. Jamie Vardy has got his 200th goal for Leicester in his 500th game. Let me just make sure I haven't said something that's not happened. Yes, he has. Ipswich 1-0 against Leicester. 1-0 up against Leicester. 1-0 up against Ipswich. Brentford are 2-1 up against Fulham as well. With all the underdogs winning trophies this season, I think Spurs will in the Europa. I know you won't think that, says Sonny Hughes. Well, mate, I'm not going to sit here and say Spurs are going to win on Wednesday, am I? Because I'm a Manchester United fan. Of course you can win. It's a flip of the coin. And also, I don't believe in that nonsense. I don't believe in it's the year of the underdog. I mean, as if God is there going, you know what, Spurs are going to win on Wednesday. I've made my mind up. Newcastle will win the Carabao Cup. Crystal Palace will win the FA Cup. And Spurs will win the Europa League. I don't care about all the conflicts in the world or the famines. I'm just going, you know, I'm the only thing I'm interested in 2025. Shut up, Jesus, and everybody else. The only thing I'm interested in 2025 is making underdogs win domestic cups and European cups in football. Don't come at me with what's going on in other areas of the world. Don't talk to me about climate change. All I'm here to do is talk about the underdogs winning trophies. I mean, what a load of shite. If Spurs win on Wednesday, it will be because it will be a coincidence. There's no such thing as the year of the underdog. People really do get crazy with conspiracy. If VAR chucked 7 minutes, how do you get to 11, says Cameron? Yeah, well, look, I think I just think I thought it was ridiculous in the FA Cup final, and I think it's ridiculous again. I thought they changed all this stupid adding of minutes. Nobody wants to see 10 minutes after a 90-minute game. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Columbus says, big up, Mark. Thank you very much, pal. Hope you're all doing well. Thank you very much for that. So we are here for Arsenal against Newcastle. The team news is in. I'll put it up on the screen for you. But at the moment, we are very much all eyes in London. We're in London, aren't we? Fairy Liquid FC are losing 2-1. But there is still another 7 minutes of added time. Forest are 2-1 up. They've got a chance of Champions League football, but they would need to be winning. I was going to have a quick look what would happen if this ends in a draw. Does that kill off Forest's hope? Take 2 points off 63. Their goal difference is plus 13. Chelsea's is better. Yeah, they're not going to do it. But they have got a better difference than a goal difference than Villa. So a draw and then a win against Chelsea could put them in the Europa instead of the Conference League. So, yeah, they can still catch Villa. As long as they don't lose. If they win, they could still make the Champions League football. Ladios says, why did they make it top 5 instead of top 4 for Champions League? Ladios, where have you been? You're a moderator. You should be keeping your finger on the pulse of football, because there are 2 extra spots allocated by UEFA, and England won one this year. Big throw by Areola. And a big kick by Milinkovic. Do I like the fact that 5 teams get Champions League football? I think, well, look, it's the rules, isn't it? I think the reason for it is the Champions League is massive now. So I think what's happened is that the Champions League is so big, UEFA decided they want to give, you know, they don't want loads and loads of shit teams in it, so they want to get an extra 2 decent teams in it. So you give 2 more slots to the 2 best performing countries. I mean, nobody wants to see them going to Latvia or Luxembourg, do they? So I understand why UEFA have done it. It's a big tournament and you want as many good teams in it as possible. Thank you for taking care of our balls, Mark. Your comments on balls on the TV guide as to the weed whacker on our balls at home. Protector of men, says Andreas. Thank you very much, pal. Thanks for your super chat. Good play by Paqueta here. Knocks it into Bowen. And that's good defending. Still 4 minutes to go here. But West Ham come again. It was a great goal by Bowen. Have they got another goal in them? Well, Forest have won it here and the referee's not given a free kick. He's surely going to go to the corner flag here, Wood. Hashtag Goldbridge, if Pep leaves, who could replace him? This is B16. I think Pep, obviously you've watched the video this morning. Let's get a poll running on this because it's a bit of a part 2 to it. Should Pep leave City this summer? Yes or no? 98 minutes, still 3 minutes to go. Be a very important win for Forest. West Ham, well, Potter needs a pre-season, doesn't he? Let's be honest. That's wasted a few seconds there. 1 win in 6 for Forest is not good enough, though, is it? Todibo and Wood having a little bit of a set too. Cross comes in. That's a good cross. Oh, good header. Away. 99 minutes. West Ham still here. Of course they're still here. They've not walked off the pitch. I can't remember what I predicted for this game, but I think I did predict a draw. Good play by Bowen. That ball's still in. Oh, he's sold that one. And it's a big clearance. 99 minutes. Wood. Oh. Up against Wan-Bissaka. You'll never beat Wan-Bissaka in a one-on-one, pal. Goes for a corner, though. Good block by Wan-Bissaka. I'll tell you what, I hope the Arsenal-Newcastle game's this good. This has been a really good watch. We should have done this as a watch-along. Hi, Mark. I scored 2 goals playing 6 in a cup semi-final yesterday. Love your content, but we're not friends till after Wednesday. Come on, you Spurs, it's story time. Well, if in that case, you must have been playing against a load of crap. Mark, do you like Guinness or are you a wimp? You know I like Guinness, Shane. Well, you might not follow Might be the first time watching it. Hashtag Goldbridge, if Pep leaves, who would you replace him with? This is B16. I don't really know. I think that's Man City's problem, isn't it? They've chucked the money at Pep because there's not actually that much out there to replace him with. I think he should go, but I don't know whether there's anyone to go. Forest just holding the ball in the corner here. There is only 30 seconds to go. They've given a goal kick. I'm sure there'll be added time on top of added time. It took a worldie for Bowen to get them back in this game. You feel they're going to need a little bit more of a worldie again. Milinkovic just blasts it upfield. Wan-Bissaka's got it. He's going to have to launch that, surely. And they've lost the ball. Oh, again. And they blast it forward again. We've had the 11 minutes. Referee's more than happy to keep playing it. I mean, how can you have 11 minutes and add time on top? I would never understand the logic of these referees. You add 11 minutes and then you start adding time on top of time. Well, it's because they were time wasting in the added time. Yeah, but there becomes a point, mate, where you've just got to stop adding time on. They'll go mad. Nice ball out. West Ham might still have a chance. Headed away. Still West Ham. Little dink. They'll get a corner. They'll get a corner. Nuno can't believe how long's been added on. So we've had a minute on top of 11 minutes here. Overall best season of football in years, says Minty Sports. This one, I mean, it's not been great for me, mate, honestly. So no, I can't join in with that. Great save, header, straight at the keeper. Still playing on. Keeper punches it away. Still. Cleared it. Still playing on. How can you add on 2 minutes on top of 11? That is disgusting. That actually is disgusting, I think. I think this is disgusting, really. Well, it's all kicking off a little bit here. I think the referee's lost the plot. He's walking away from people pushing and shoving as well. Does the fact that everyone is ending their trophy droughts this season concern you for Wednesday? Sounds stupid, I know, but it's making me feel uneasy, says Goldio. No, as I've said before, if God was involved in football, he shouldn't be. Why aren't you helping out in conflict and famine? As if he's sticking himself in. There was nothing really much happening in that West Ham and Forest push and shove, really. Wow. Well, we will be putting the Arsenal-Newcastle game on at some point, but this has been epic. It really has. Still, we are playing. We've had 15 minutes of added time. Yellow cards are being given out. Wow. Ref's lost the plot here, says Greg. Well, let's not forget, before all the pushing and shoving, he'd added on 2.5 minutes on top of 11 minutes. Now, there was a big VAR check. So he added 11 minutes on, but he's played another 2.5 minutes on top of that before all this started to happen. So you just can't do that as a referee. You can't have 90 minutes. You can't have a 90-minute game, then add 11 minutes. He's going to send someone off here. Just blow the fucking whistle. That's weird. Weird, weird. Who is this referee? He's walking along the pitch now to do something. What a fucking Jobsworth. The new Michael Oliver. What the fuck is going on? He's taken the ball back to the other end of the pitch, even though Forest had it at the other end of the pitch. This is a joke. This is an absolute joke. This is hilarious. This is absolutely hilarious. So he's doing a drop ball on the edge of the Forest box, even though Forest had the ball in their own half. He's going to let Forest kick it. We've had 16 minutes added on here. Milinkovic is just going to boot it. And the referee blows the whistle. Oh, well, just crazy end to the game. Crazy end to the game. But what it does do is it means that we get a really interesting final day. Chelsea go to Forest. 65 for Forest, 66 Chelsea. Villa will be at Old Trafford, 66. Man City will probably be safe, but they have got Bournemouth on Tuesday night. But unbelievable stuff going on there. And we'll be going to the Emirates next. We don't get to get a break. We just carry on talking. Columbus says, how tall are you, Mark? Is it true that you're 5'9"? Mate, I'm 6 foot. I've always been 6 foot. Let the chat burn. They will get really upset by it, but it is true. End of the day, we move on. We move. But look, final day is cooking up, isn't it? Can't wait for that next Sunday. Who will get the Champions League spots? I bet Chelsea thought they had it done. It just shows you it's not over yet. It's not over yet. York City against Oldham Watchalong. Who says no, says Goldio? Me. Commentator, who would have seen the game finishing like this? I can't see this game finishing at all, says Robbo96. Goldio says, does the fact that everyone is ending their... I've done that from Trophy Doubt. Can you do a Pep impersonation of when he's lost, says B16. I can't do a Pep interpretation anyway. Overall, best season of footballing years. Visiting Manchester next Sunday. Places to visit, says Distressed Wrangler Jeans. I don't live in Manchester, mate, so I can't give you loads of places to visit, but certainly go to Old Trafford. Do you like... I've done the Guinness one as well. Thank you, pal. Thank you very much for that. Right. We need to get the Arsenal game on. It is on. It's changed over automatically. 69% of you say Pep should leave City this summer. We'll end that poll there. If you've got any other polls, let me know. We'll put them in for you. Thank you very much on that one. There's a goal at Brentford. It's 2-2 now. Fulham have equalised. Interesting game going on there because actually it doesn't do anything for either of them, does it? It's all about where you finish in the league now, but they won't get European football below 7th. 8th place was going to be a European spot, but Crystal Palace winning the FA Cup prevents that happening. So you're just playing for placement now, which is £3 million every place you finish in. And that is worth mentioning. But yeah, there'll be no European spot below 7th. This year now, so hashtag deal with it because you're not going to get one. Do you see Newcastle getting the win? No, I don't. I think Arsenal are better than Newcastle. I don't think Arsenal have had the season that maybe they wanted to have. But are they in a new home kit? Is that a new home kit? We start to see this at the end of this. I quite like that kit for Arsenal. There's not a lot you can do with an Arsenal kit, to be fair with you, but it's reminiscent of Ian Wright days. I'm thinking it's quite a traditional kit, that Arsenal one, actually. Yeah, I'm thinking like Steve Bold, Kevin Campbell, that sort of period. Top 3 pints on draft, Mark, says Cobby. I'm not, I like a lager, but I'm not a lager snob, so it doesn't really matter to me. Troy, I'm going to put you on timeout. I'm so bored of the same question I don't want to answer. You know, just take the hint. It's so boring. I don't want to answer your questions, so stop asking it. How about Sir Jim offering Deitch the United job, says B16? Well, he's clearly not. We're about to start here in the Newcastle, in the Arsenal game, and I'm not even ready. Let's go. Of course, we've just killed off half an hour waiting for this to start by watching a very dramatic end to the Forest West Ham game. Oh, here we go again. A knobhead referee who has had all fucking day to get himself ready and hasn't. But we're still up and running. I think he was the 4th official. What a prat. You had one job, mate. You're basically going to stand on the side and no one's going to take any notice of you, and you didn't put batteries in your comms. Javier says, I've lost my childhood pet yesterday. Have you lost a pet before? If so, do you eventually just get over it? Rest in peace, Daisy, says Javier. Oh, I presume it's dead. I thought, for a moment there, I thought you meant like it's lost, because some pets do go missing, cats. I had a cat that went missing for a week, and it did come back. But obviously, I'm reading between the lines here. Rest in peace, Daisy. Doesn't mean it's lost. Look, I think I've said it before about animals that, you know, that some people don't care for them, others do, and they're almost like one of the family. Or in fact, they are part of the family. So when you lose them, it is quite sad. I remember losing my first dog. When I say lose, I didn't lose it; it died, and I was very traumatised by it. Yes, it is very sad. They are part of the family, as Pez said. Yes, unless they are like a guard dog, like farmers sometimes have guard dogs, and they don't really treat them like the family. They just treat them like they're a guard dog. Are you nervous for Wednesday, says YouTube? No. Deitch said he'd give Amram till Christmas to turn United around. Too long, in my opinion, but if he hasn't improved by then, get him gone and bring in someone solid, says the Great Dane. Oh yeah, because I really give a shit what Sean Deitch says about Man United. He's not a United fan. He's never going to manage a club that good. Why would I care about what Sean Deitch has got to say? And I've never understood the nonsense of giving managers till Christmas. What's the correlation between bloody Santa and the birth of Jesus and a manager? Why Christmas? Christmas is actually the worst time to sack a manager. You know, you ruin their Christmas, and also, it's not actually a great time. Sacking a manager halfway through a season is just not good. I genuinely think we'd have been better off keeping Ten Hag till the summer, in the knowledge that we've got Amram coming in the summer. Because look at what it's done. Look at Potter at West Ham. It's not done them any good, has it? Very rarely does it do good. Emery, okay, but they did replace Gerrard. Did you watch the Goodison Park send-off, says the Hills? No. They can do one now. Banning me from it. I couldn't give a toss. Oh, here we go again. There's another prat in the chat. Baffer this time. Since most of the underdogs are winning trophies, does that make you feel even more nervous? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm terrified, mate. I'm absolutely terrified. No correlation has got me shitting myself. Oh, God. You know what? Somebody choked on a fishbone 10 years ago and died. I'm having fish and chips on Friday. I'm terrified. I'm fucking terrified. It could be me. Court penalty. That's a penalty. No, not given. The fact that people think because Crystal Palace and Newcastle have broken their trophy droughts that Spurs are going to do it. How does that work then? Are you banned from the new stadium? I imagine so. I'm not nervous. I'm not nervous at all. I get the depression and oblivion we're staring into if we do lose to Spurs, but it's a very personal thing to Manchester United. It's very rare that you need to win a game for financial reasons. I couldn't give a toss about the banter of losing to Spurs or the empty trophy cabinet and all the banter that we'll get. That doesn't really bother me at all. I'm more worried about the fact that we'll be broke and miles behind everybody else. And also, we shouldn't be losing to Spurs anyway. It's Spurs. Tune in on Wednesday anyway if you think I'm nervous. Let's see. Got me bottle of Malbec on order. Thanks everyone for tuning in, by the way. Gavin says, some say Everton have a seat named after Mark in the new stadium as an apology. Just need to stretch a little bit. I can't really stand up as much as I was because I've got this injury at the moment, but I still need to get up and stretch. So, old day stretch coming in here. Thanks everyone who's tuning in. Make sure you share the video. Newcastle against Arsenal this Sunday afternoon. We've got an amazing final day next Sunday coming up. Look at that. Forest have won at West Ham. They play Chelsea next Sunday at the City Ground. So it's going to be, what a save by Raya. It's going to be a very, very interesting final day. We don't normally get decent final days in the Premier League this in recent years, but that for Champions League football, what a way for the fixtures to fall. Chelsea against Forest, massive game next week. Newcastle should be winning this. Great save by Raya. Newcastle looking lively in the first few minutes. Arsenal need to get themselves up for it. On order, says Steve. Does that mean the Malbec was just added to the wife's shopping list? I wish it bloody was, mate. There was a bit of a thing going on the United Stand the other night where people were making a contribution to the bottle of Malbec and it went over 100 quid. You can't get a £100 bottle of Malbec at bloody Tesco, so I've had to order it from a proper bloody wine merchant. They sent me an email saying, good choice. This would be a good one to keep for future years. I didn't have the heart to say, yeah, I'm using it on a football watch-along on Wednesday. I'll be drinking it like Ribena. You know what wine hipsters are like. Honestly, not trying to wind you up, Mark, says Penelope, but do you think it's helped United not having those from Champions League drop down? I don't think they ever should have been dropping down, Penelope, is my take. I don't know. I thought that was elitist nonsense that teams got to drop down from the Champions League into the Europa League anyway. Spurs plus 175, Man United plus 150. Man United the underdogs, says Hookham. Good. It was a good save by Raya. It was sort of at him, but it was a double save. Big Dave says 3-4-3 system won't work in the Premier League. Does anyone watch Newcastle? Look, they need calling out. These people, these ex-players who've played the game, sitting there with a smug face in front of millions going, Amrim's system won't work in the Premier League. And, you know, to have producers and presenters who are so low on IQ that they're not going, hold on a minute, did Conte not win it a few years ago with the 3-4-3? You know, there are teams already playing the 3-4-3. What are you talking about? You're fired. Make a tequila bottle. That will be legendary, says Parker. Make one. Harry says, do you think if Man United lose the final, there's any chance that Gyökeres will join United? Absolutely none. How much was the wine, says Alex Roach. Look, I could have gone higher, but it's not easy to get bottles of Malbec for more than 100 quid without it being stupid to drink it. So 126. It's a 2019 Argentinian. I can't remember what the name is. Careful. Hopefully it'll be the Messi of Malbec. Carfel Mark. I know a guy who had a bad hip a week later. His team lost the Europa League finals. Is B16. Thank you, pal. Judy is watching from 1:39 a.m. in Australia. Thanks very much, Judy. I'm just going to drop a link in the chat. By all means, subscribe to my channel, but it all will come clear in a minute. You can read it in the live chat now. It's pinned. But I'll explain what that's all about in a moment. Xbox servers are down, so I can't even watch the game. Let's go. Putting on my Garnacho jersey and going outside to kick the ball while I listen, says Louis. I love that. Get outside, kick a ball. If I did that at the moment, I think I'd collapse in agony. I will be heading to the doctors this week. Probably not before Wednesday, because I don't know whether you've ever had, like, a bit of a medical complaint. Here's Odegaard into the box. Looks at Saka. I think that probably wasn't a handball. I don't know whether you've had a medical complaint before, and you know you probably need to go to the doctors, but you hold it off because there's something going on in your life that you do not want a bad answer to. I mean, look, they might just say, goal! Great save. Well, straight at the keeper again from Newcastle. Liveramento. Yeah, I don't want to go to the doctors before Wednesday, because if he says, like, you've really damaged your hip, you need urgent bed rest. I'm not having bed rest. I've got a Europa League final to do on Wednesday. Same thing happened to me when I went on my first lads holiday to Magaluf. I was 18. And I think we went the first week of September. And we had a pre-season game on the Sunday, and we were flying on the Friday. Newcastle are playing really well here. And anyway, on the Sunday, we had a pre-season game. And of course, it was August, end of August. It was really hot. The pitches were like concrete. Picked it up in the midfield. They used to call me the Gaza of Cropple Bishop. And basically skinned 2 players, running at the back 4. Was never going to pass. A bit Garnacho, really. Went past 2 players in the midfield. I was only 18, playing against men. And their 2 centre-backs basically just took me out at the same time, and I was like a hot dog squeezed together in a hot dog bap. I went up in the air, landed on my lower back. I was in absolute agony, and the next morning I woke up and I couldn't move my neck. And I mean, that's a bit of a concern, isn't it? You fall on your lower back and you wake up in the morning and you can't move your neck. But I didn't go to A&E. I didn't go to the doctors because, I was like, they'll say there's something seriously wrong with you and you can't go on holiday. So I just sort of took it easy that week. Didn't have much choice. My back was in pain and I couldn't move my neck. It started to get better after about 4 days. I could go to the toilet and eat. And anyway, went on holiday, just starting to recover, went on a banana boat, and the person behind me came off before me, knee straight in the same area of the back. And the boat came along and said, you need to climb to get yourself back up. And I was like, I can't move my neck. Ooh, Trossard. So yeah, I probably should have gone to the... I often think, like, if I'd gone to the doctors with that, I wonder what I actually did. Because I've always had lower back pain ever since. You've broken your neck. Yeah, I've got any doctors there. What could I have done that would, probably damage my spinal cord or something like that, haven't I? Hi, Mark. I lost my dog on Thursday, says James. She's been cremated and she's now back home. Miss her to bits. Have a good day, everyone. Man United to win on Wednesday. Words fail me. I'm trying to think of the right words other than rest in peace to your dog. Because you didn't give us the name. I was looking for the name. Rest in peace to your dog, James. I hope you have a good game and good day as well. And Manchester United to win on Wednesday, yes. Tapping Merchant says, how tall are you when you stop growing? Well, it's an individual thing, mate. You know, Ronnie Corbett was about 4 foot. Arsenal getting more back into this game now. Saka into Odegaard. He's what? Shite that was. Absolute shite. Thanks for your super chats, by the way. Appreciate that. How tall was I when I stopped growing? I was 6 foot at 14 and I never grew any bigger because I remember my granddad, rest in peace. He always said, you got to stop playing on the wing because you're going to be about 6'4". I could have stayed on the wing. I could have been Ryan Giggs. I thought I was going to be 6'4", but so I did adjust my game, but I actually didn't grow any more. I really used to panic about that. I wanted to play on the wing and I was quite good, but I actually did change my position because I was like, you don't get wingers who are 6'4", but I stopped growing at 14. I hope United do what Everton did and let the women play at Old Trafford. You can't knock it down. In all seriousness, I hope your hip gets better soon, mate, says B16. Thanks, pal. Thanks for your support. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way, because we're on 1.3299. So we're basically on 1,329,900. We're only 100 subscribers away from 1.33. So please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Oh, what a save by Raya. Raya's having a worldie already. It's deflecting into the bottom corner. And he gets his fingertips on it. I tell you what, if you've got Raya in your FPL, he's probably made 5 saves already. So you've probably got a bonus point going already. Great start by Newcastle. Good game. Good game. You know, it's a good game. As Juddy says, they look good so far. Of course, if Newcastle win, they go second. Arsenal need to get their head in the game a little bit here. What's your Premier League prediction next year, says Epicologist. I would say that I think Arsenal are going to win the league next year, but I don't know what striker they're going to get, and I must say I am impressed by Liverpool, who are the Premier League title holders, bringing in Frimpong. Kirkes will follow, so they've had a good window themselves. Robble says, if you were to... We've got some great questions coming in today. Really enjoying the show. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Please do subscribe. I've got something else for you in a moment. If you're a fan of going for Goldbridge, cooking for Goldbridge, just my God, Raya's just made another 2 saves. He's going to break records here. How many saves has Raya made? I think he's made at least 6. Oh God. He's having a worldie. He's having an absolute worldie. He's like an octopus. Yeah, 2 saves there. He has. He's made about 7 saves already. That's 2 bonus points. He's having a De Gea at the Emirates here. Who remembers that De Gea performance against Arsenal? That was amazing that day. The Great Wall of Raya, says Juddy. Yeah, I'm thinking about bringing Cooking with Goldbridge back, Driving with Goldbridge back, and a little bit of bonus content as well. No, he cleared away. But I'm going to set a target. My hip pain turned into bad sciatica, says Jason. I already had the back pain before it. I think that's what's causing the hip pain. Do you get tired of being asked stupid questions, says Ute? No, I tend to just take the piss out of them or ignore. He's going to shoot. Oh, no, goes wide. Newcastle, very good so far. I think what Arsenal are struggling with is the old... they just want the season to end, whereas Newcastle want to finish second. Motivation, isn't it? I think that's the Arsenal problem. Good ball into Martinelli, though. I think Martinelli is decent. I just don't think... Look, I've sponsored the Emirates, MG. They put it up. Cost me a 500 grand, that did, MG. They've bloody done it. Look, if you're watching the telly. And they've put it back on the big screen. 500 grand that's cost me for the MG. And they're showing some twat injured. Oh, it'd be gone now. There it is. Oh, it's going to go. What a waste of money that was. Can't believe it. I've been scammed. It's gone. It's gone to Adidas. Where do you see United finishing next season, says Suleiman? I think if United finish in the top 8 next season. It's an improvement. I'd have to see what our summer signings are going to be, but I mean, look, I think anything higher than 6th is optimistic, let's say. But the press and certain United fans will moan like a bunch of babies if we are in 7th. What did you get in your GCSEs, Michael? I did terrible. Absolutely terrible. I got 3 GCSEs I did rubbish. I didn't do A-levels. Didn't go to uni. If you were to start a watch-along channel for another sport apart from football, which one would it be and why, says Robble? Oh. So I can pick a sport, and even if it's not popular, it becomes instantly popular. Is that what we're saying? So basically, the rules are, I get to pick a sport I enjoy, and loads of people watch it. Yeah. I think honestly, I'm going to shock everybody here. If anyone gets it, I'll give them a shout out. Table tennis, Terence, no. Ladies volleyball, no, I'll be divorced. NFL is not long enough. I like it. Yeah, he's got it. Well done. Well done. Loads of people have got it. They know me well. I'm going to give Harry O'Donnell the shout out. Snooker. I like snooker. And I think it would be such a great watch along because there's loads of like pauses and everything like that. There's loads of, there's loads of delays in it. Loads of people find it really boring. I would never do a snooker channel, but I'm just saying if it ultimately became really popular, I probably would do that. Niche bridge. Just catching up on some super chats here. I think Everton. I think Everton keeping the Goodison Park is incredible, brilliant. I thought they were going to knock it down. I'm so happy that they're keeping it. I hope it's not a short thing though. I hope they are going to keep it for a long time, not just for a couple of years. I don't mind F1 if it's interesting, So 22 minutes gone here. Raya has been the difference maker so far. He's made some, I wouldn't say wonderful saves. He's made some standard saves and he's made some good saves. But interestingly enough, when we look at the stats, look at that. They've had 8 shots, 5 on target, and they have been the better side, Newcastle. But of course, a Newcastle win does put them second. And their last game of the season's Everton at home. So if they do win here, Newcastle, you'd expect them to finish second, which would be another kick in the nuts for Arsenal. Hi, Mark. Good luck with your hip. My 83-year-old uncle has also some hip problems, but I think it's only the muscle. Will you also be banned from the new Everton ground, or is it restarted from the next? If I knew what I was banned for, I could give you the answer, but they never gave us that information. Have you ever considered doing a wrestling watch-along, says Ollie? Well, I can tell you the time I do it wasn't very popular then because I've already done one. Constantine says, you strike me as a mate who loves people bashing their heads in for sport. Just kidding. And I've just booked my solo holiday to Benidorm. I'm buzzing watching United in the sun, says Jason. I do like watching football on holiday. I remember on that first lads holiday as well, because it was the start of September that we went. The season had started, and we got there on the Friday, and I said to the lads on the Saturday, "You can do what you like, but I'm going to be in a bar watching all the football." And they were like, "You can't do that on holiday." I said, "I'm not." I didn't say I'm watching the football tonight when it's not on. I thought that was nearly a penalty there. I don't know why the referee didn't look at it. He did trip him. Watch this on Ben White. He does get tripped. Watch. See? Dan Burn does clip him. That's a penalty. Watch. He does catch him. He won't be given, but he does catch him. Should have been a penalty, that. Thank you very much. We've also had a super chat come in. I did miss it. Sorry. Sammy D says, my son was invited for a tryout for a team where he plays up 2 years from his age. He's 5 and plays with 7 and 8 year olds. Any advice on development? Also, he wears 7 for Mbappe and Mount, his 2 favourites. I think that's fantastic, mate. If he's being asked to play up 2 age groups at 5, he's obviously very, very talented. I'm quite unconventional. I'm not a big fan of academies for kids under 13 because I just think the school year makes such a big difference. If you're a July kid and you're playing against October kids, they're always going to have a big advantage over you physically. And I also don't think as a player you truly develop until you're like 13, 14. So I just think I understand why clubs do it because they're just trying to hoover up all the talent. But I think having academies for under 8s, under 9s, under 10s, I just think let them play. And I've seen a lot of this. They go into academies, they're training them, let's be honest, the Pep way. And I'd rather they were just playing for their local team, expressing themselves, taking people on. But look, I know a lot of people who've got their kids in academies and they bloody never shut up about it. So you do you at the end of the day. Do you think we'll get Martinez from Villa, says Tom? Oh, what a stupid question. Absolutely no. He's going to Saudi, mate. Dream Winter says, is Neville your rival, Mark, or do you just don't like him? I don't dislike anybody. I think Simon Jordan's the same, isn't it? We operate in a world of opinion, and I think some of these people, like Neville, just can't deal with the fact that some people criticise them and get quite moody and closed off about it. I mean, we literally live in a sport where... good cross by Anthony Gordon. Foul. Yeah, I mean, look, I think in certain sports, if somebody says something about you, you get in a ring, And I just think in football, like, it's amazing how closed off some of these people are. Simon Jordan's always saying stuff about Gary Neville. He'd never have a debate with Simon Jordan. And I just think that's just, give the public what they want. I'd love to see that. A proper debate between those two. It would be great. But no, I don't dislike Simon Jordan. I don't dislike Gary Lineker. I don't dislike Rio Ferdinand or Gary Neville. I just think they do come out with bad opinions and nobody holds them accountable. That's it. But they can do them. I'll do me. We'll do us. Everybody's happy. It's, Declan Rice shoots from distance straight to the keeper. I think there was a time a couple of years ago, some people in the channel will know, where I was like, I would love to have that debate with Gary, this, that and the other. I couldn't give a shit now. I really couldn't. We're doing our thing, he's doing his thing. Best of luck to him. I think it would make really, really good content, but obviously he's not comfortable doing it for whatever reason, so that's absolutely fine. Simon Jordan wasn't comfortable doing it when I was at TalkSport. Absolutely fine. As I said, there was a time where I wanted to do it because I know it would have made really good content, but I make really good content anyway. I'm not that bothered. Newcastle on the attack again. Definitely been the better side. Simon Jordan called you an idiot last week. That's fine, mate. But that's fine. Like, it's absolutely fine. But, like, if I said I think Simon Jordan swallows a dictionary every night and shits out a word that he's just made, that he's just learnt, and he went, I don't agree with that, get him on the show, I'd be like, what time? But if he calls me an idiot and I go, well, if I'm an idiot, get me on a show with you and we'll prove who's the idiot. He's like, no, I don't want to do it. So, don't put my name in your mouth if you're too scared to have a bloody debate about it. And that's exactly what I used to say when I worked at TalkSport. So I don't really respect being called an idiot by somebody who won't even, you know, don't mention me, you know, at the end of the day. That's fair, isn't it? If we were two boxers and he called me an idiot and I went, right, let's get in the ring and have a fight, and he went, no, I don't want to, everyone would ridicule them and go, well, don't bloody say that then, you know? Every time I watch these two top Premier League sides, it makes me realise how far United are off, says Abraham. Oh, yeah. The intensity, even Arsenal, who aren't playing their best game, the way they move the ball around. Here's Saka. Good cross. Oh, good defending. They're miles ahead of Man United. You're absolutely spot on. Score prediction for Wednesday, Mark, says Tom. Well, you can join me on the United stand for that. It's going to be a very interesting night. I'm sure we'll have to suffer. I'm sure it'll be a nervous game for the players. I have to believe Man United will win. I've been saying it since January. So I go with a Man United win. I personally think it will be comfortable for one team or the other. I think United will win 2-3-1 or Spurs will win 2-3-1. I don't see it being penalty shootout or 2-2 or something like that. And the reason for that is that this is not, although it is a European game, Tottenham have only drawn 5 games this season, which is the lowest in the Premier League, bar Wolves. So Tottenham and Wolves have drawn the least amount of games this season, which says to me, Tottenham, I think Tottenham have scored more goals than Villa and Forest, who are fighting for Champions League football. And yet they've conceded more goals than Everton, Crystal Palace, Bournemouth. The same amount of goals as West Ham, 61. So they're not a team that draws games, Spurs. They win or they lose. So I just don't see a tight game, really. I think it'll go one way or the other. Tom, thanks for your super chat. I'm from the USA. How do you join an academy? Says Chris. I don't know. I don't actually know. If you're in the States, I don't know. Surely your ban became void as soon as Deitch left, given it was likely in relation to your impression of him, says Robbo. It could have been to do with Pickford. Sean Atwood says, I pulled my intercostal muscle. It sucks getting out of bed. Hopefully nobody's mate pulled theirs and then got hit by a bus. Okay. Sean, thank you very much. 32 minutes gone. OTG is getting excited about a ball. He says, the Premier League ball is beautiful and it takes me back to 2006 when I fell in love with Manchester United. Let's win on Wednesday, says OTG. A variety sports channels for different sports events, says 90 Stevens. Thank you, pal. Here's Saka. Lays it off. Across the back post. That's going to go out for a goal kick. Arsenal's corners have fell off, haven't they, really? We are 70 subscribers away from 330,000, so please do subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. If you have subscribed, you can still help by sharing the video. That would help. Havertz on the bench for Arsenal. Is that true? Didn't even notice that. Got himself back. Let me just double check. Yeah, Havertz back on the bench. Leicester have beaten Ipswich 2-0, by the way. And Fulham came from 2-1 down to beat Brentford 3-2. It was a Wilson winner. Had a good season, Fulham, to be fair. Your channel is 6 years old today. Which channel was that? Oh, Mark Goldbridge, That's Entertainment, is 6 years old today. Didn't know that. Well, I do now. I do now. My Mark Goldbridge channel is heading towards 400,000 subscribers. And I don't upload on there enough. When was my last video? 52 days ago. Goldbridge live test. My God. My A-levels soon, Mark. Need some revision tips, says Banana. My daughter's A-levels started last week. I think she had one on Friday, psychology. Every time I watch I've done that one from Abraham. Yeah, good luck to anybody who's doing their exams, GCSEs, A-levels or anything else, resits. Squirrel said that was a great video, Mark. I'm going to make a pledge. I've put the link in the live chat. I'm going to bring back the Mark Goldbridge channel. I'm going to make a pledge here to you good people now. If you don't know what my channel is, I'm just looking at it here in the back system. I did career mode on there. I did driving with Goldbridge there. I did cooking with Goldbridge there. I've got some ideas for new content on there. It's more lifestyle stuff. Some people do like it. I'm going to make a pledge. If we can hit 390,000 subscribers, I'll bring it back. It's on 388,900. So if you want it back or you'd like to see it, there's 11,500 people watching here. Click the link in the live chat and subscribe. And when it hits 390,000 subscribers, I mean, it probably won't be today, I will bring it back. And it also gives me a bit of time to think of when I could film some content for it. So if you want it back, go and subscribe. And that pledge will be true. As soon as it hits 390, I will drop some content for you. Fabian, thanks for your super chat. Appreciate that. Hold on. Talking about comments. My comments have just frozen here. So 0-0. I mean, this wouldn't be bad for Arsenal. They would still be 2 points ahead of Newcastle, and then they go to Southampton to finish second. If Newcastle win, obviously they leapfrog Arsenal. Constantine says, what's your thoughts on Sean Dyche saying he could win more games than Amrim? I'd love to see that football. I actually agree with him. I think Sean Dyche would win more games of football than Ange at Spurs as well. It's the same theory. What a ball. He's through one-on-one. No, he hasn't got the pace, Livramento, and Arsenal defence recover well. He just didn't have the... That was Isak, it would have been 1-0. But here's Tonali into Wilson. Good block again. Definitely been the better side. No, I agree with Dyche in the sense that when you sack Ten Hag, who plays a 4-3-3, and replace him with Amorim in season, who plays a 3-4-3, and you don't have the players to play that 3-4-3, and you therefore lose a shitload of games... Obviously, things won't improve under Amorim until he has a pre-season and some players that actually can play his system. Sean Dyche plays low IQ football in the sense that it's quite simple. It's a back four. It's about the set pieces. It's about the second balls. It's about effort. So if he goes into Manchester United after Ten Hag and says, we're just going to do the basics, we're not really going to change the system, then I would have expected them to pick more points up, yeah. But in the long run, you are never going to get in the top four playing that brand of football. And that is why some people's brain won't figure it out. Well, if he's better than Amorim, then why is he not the manager? Because there would be a very, very quick ceiling of mid-table, sixth, something like that, with Dyche at Man United, and the football would be fucking awful. Whereas if you have someone like Amorim and you let him build the team, you'd be expecting to be in the top four in the next couple of years. So he is right, but that's no reason to give Sean Dyche the Arsenal job, or the Man United job, or anybody else in the top four. Jeremy has made a really good super chat here. He says, in his debut season, Bergvall won all 3 Spurs Player of the Season awards. I think he has superstar potential. What's your opinion on him? When I heard he was injured for the final, I was like, that's a bit of a let-off. Because every time I've seen him, he does look really good, and I think he's a big, big loss for Spurs. I didn't know he'd won all of your Player of the Season awards, but that just shows you what a big loss he is on Wednesday. I think Kulusevski as well. Look, Spurs can still win that game, but he is a big loss for Spurs, and he's a big player for the future. Spurs' biggest problem is mentality. That's the biggest problem at Spurs, and we all know it. It's mentality. They've got players, they just don't have the right mentality. Light switch players, like Man United have been this season. They're light switch players. You know, they turn up and they don't turn up. Please do share the video, by the way. I can tell you that we're nearly at 12,000 watching, but more interestingly, the return of the Mark Goldbridge channel, we've had 100 people subscribe already. I've said it will come back if we hit 390, and we're 900 away already. I mean, I don't think this is going to work necessarily today, and if it did, I haven't actually got any content to drop. I'd have to go and record something straight after this. But the Mark Goldbridge channel will return. It's the home of career mode. It's the home of driving with Goldbridge. It's the home of cooking with Goldbridge. I will get back, and I will upload a video a week when we hit 390,000 subscribers. So if you want to see that lifestyle Goldbridge content back on your screen, then, or you've never seen it before and you want to see it, then the link is in the live chat. Click and subscribe, which 100 of you have done already. So there you go. It's on the road to getting back. You might get a video this week. You might get one tomorrow. Funny how one of Arsenal or Liverpool will have a successful hate watch on Wednesday, says Zero. You know what? You know when I see hate watch, you know what I think? Remove hate and replace with the word twat. Hate watch. How about just watch football? Like, yeah, how about that's football? You know, I don't particularly like Arsenal. I don't particularly like Liverpool, but I don't call them hate watchers. I call it, let's watch a game of football. And if it's a good game of football, let's call it a good game of football. And if there's a good action, let's say it's a good action. I don't want Liverpool to win the bloody league, but I wouldn't say it was a hate watch. I mean, that's just twats. Absolute idiots. Oh, it's about rivalry. Oh, yeah. Because Liverpool are Man United's rival at the moment, aren't they? We could learn one or two things from Liverpool over the last few years. Just the same as a lot of teams learnt a lot from us under Sir Alex. Funny how one... Anyway, thank you, Zero. In his debut season, we've done that one. Last of Us playthrough possible, says David. Well, that could be the content we do on the new channel. Good comments today. Arsenal fans will not want Spurs to win on Wednesday, though, will they? I mean, I'll be honest with you. If Liverpool were playing Spurs, I would want Spurs to win. So I'm sure Liverpool fans will want Spurs to win. You know, I wanted Palace to win yesterday. I still can't believe, you know, I was watching some of the highlights last night. I think every ex-player said it, and we said it on the watch-along as well. I can't believe they didn't send Dean Henderson off. I think if that happened to any other club that anyone actually gave a shit about, that would have been even bigger news. What are your opinions on Ronaldo scoring 2 goals today? Says Flair. You want my honest opinion? That is literally... the first time I've read that. David says, Mark is the human version of toxic, childish Twitter. I think I'm actually the opposite of that, David, because I can't stand toxic, childish Twitter, and I certainly don't do that. So I'd love to see your examples. What are chances United get Gyökeres if we get the Champions League, says Joe? I still think Arsenal are the big favourites to get Gyökeres. But I hope Man United can do it. Robbo96 says Simon Jordan, the man who almost got Palace folded, also has no respect for Steve Parish, the guy under whose watch they've won their first ever trophy, ensuring a place in Europe. Tells you everything. Do you not think Simon Jordan would be happy that Crystal Palace have won the FA Cup then? You know, the biggest thing they've done in my lifetime, Crystal Palace actually. I was really glad that Crystal Palace won yesterday. I remember them beating Liverpool in 1990 in the semi-final. I can't remember where they played that semi-final, actually. Was it the semi-final or was it the quarter-final? Just remember John Pemberton. There's a name from the past. Going forward as a marauding right back and putting a cross in. But I felt like that game was played at Crystal Palace. Maybe it was Villa Park versus Liverpool. FA Cup semi-final 1990. Yeah, John Pemberton played for them after extra time. They'd been beaten 9-0 at Anfield that season. So they'd lost 9-0 to Liverpool that season, but they beat them 4-3 in extra time in the FA Cup. And it's half-time here at the moment. And, of course, it ended up being Man United Crystal Palace in the final instead of Liverpool. I presume it was played at Villa Park. Yeah, it was Villa Park, yeah. It's Villa Park. But yeah, I mean, obviously I wanted Man United to win the final, but Crystal Palace that was an epic game at Villa Park. One of the best FA Cup semi-finals of all time, actually. It was an amazing game. I think Liverpool were playing in that horrible grey kit. I remember having that, got that as a Sabutio kit, but they then played Man United in the final and lost. Lee Martin. So yeah, I mean, it's just great for Crystal Palace. I mean, a lot of people talk about Newcastle, and they still have got a chance of getting second place here. They've been the better team. It is half-time, but it remains 0-0. But yeah, a lot of people talk about Newcastle winning the Carabao Cup, and obviously that is great for Newcastle. But I think even the most staunch Newcastle fan would admit that Crystal Palace have trumped it. The FA Cup is better than the Carabao Cup. So it's fantastic for Crystal Palace what they've done. And I really, really am very, very pleased for them. And they'll be in the Europa League. Is there an 8 o'clock show? Yes, I've just seen something in the chat I need to discuss about Rashford, so we'll do that at 8 o'clock as well. Keep subscribing to my channel if you want to see it back. A lot of you have already. Once it hits 390, there will be new content on the Mark Goldbridge channel. You can subscribe by clicking the link in the live chat and subscribing. Everyone talks about Mark Robins saving Fergie, but wasn't Lee Martin, really? Well, no, I think the Mark Robins goal away from home, I was at that game because it was at the City Ground and I lived in Nottingham. I think Forest were expected to win that game, and it was a time in January where Sir Alex was really struggling for results. And obviously, if we'd been knocked out in January with the bad results and going out of the FA Cup, there'd have been nothing, you know. Whereas the final, by then, I think he'd sort of ridden the storm a little bit and wasn't going to get sacked if we lost the final. Whereas I think if he'd lost in January, there was a real push to get him sacked. So I think that's why they say Mark Robins. The context is key. Who would you sell and buy in the summer, says Philippe? Yeah, tell you what, that's football, right? We are watching Arsenal Newcastle. 2 questions to you, the chat. Can you answer them realistically? How much money will Newcastle have to spend in the summer? Because Villa got in the Champions League and still needed to sell Douglas Luiz. Do Newcastle have the capacity to hold on to all their players and bring in 3 or 4 players? Because that's what they need to do. Secondly, Liverpool are clearly going to move on Darwin Núñez. Who do you think Newcastle are going to sign as a striker? Squirrel says, I think they'll have about 150 million to 200 million, especially if they don't sell Isak. Gareth says about 60 million. Be interesting to see what Newcastle do. 150 to 200 million. They've always struggled with FFP. Obviously, the Saudi money's there, but they can't spend it. Ekatike for Liverpool, says Majola. Look, the fact that Liverpool aren't looking at people like Osimhen and Gyökeres is a profile thing. If you look at the way Arne Slot plays, he likes his wide forwards to be attackers, and he likes his central player to be part of the build-up. Yotta's perfect, but he gets injured a lot. So I don't know that Ekitike would be the sort of player that they'd go for, because is he not more of a goal scorer? I think Liverpool need more of a somebody who can score goals, obviously, but it's somebody who's intelligent, works hard, brings others into play. So I don't know who they're going to go for, but they will go for somebody, I'm sure, definitely. Definitely. Alvarez would be very interesting for Liverpool. Rodrigo. Quality content. Cheers from Texas, says Rohan. What are your thoughts on Newcastle updating their badge? This trend is good or bad? I haven't seen anything about it. Let me have a look. How are they updating it? What are they going to do? The thing is, they've already updated it, because when I was a kid, it used to be NUF in a circle with a magpie underneath it, and I quite liked that. Then they've changed it to the two horses with mermaid feet. They've got a proper name. And now, apparently, they're going to change it to... I don't know what they're going to change it to, actually. But it's not like they haven't changed it before. Like, clubs do change their badge, don't they? Should Kelleher go to Barcelona, says Marv? He needs to play football, doesn't he? We're selling Emi Martinez because of PSR, says Danielius. Yeah, that's why I think it's very obvious that Emi Martinez is going to Saudi. Aston Villa have clearly got their heads switched on. Duran. It's a seahorse, Mark. That's the one. A horse with mermaid feet, or otherwise known as a seahorse. Very good band, the Seahorses. Short-lived, but I liked a couple of their songs. Now you know where you're going, baby. You can lay back and enjoy the ride. Yes, we like them. How big is the barbecue at Palace going to be? Oddie. They'll probably have a... Surely Crystal Palace are having an open bus top tour. What is this woke madness? Like, I want to see open bus top tours. Definitely. Bring it back. Jonathan Francois says, Newcastle beat Forest, Chelsea, Arsenal twice, and Liverpool en route to the League Cup. Palace beat Fulham, Villa, and Man City. How can you say with a straight face Palace's run was more impressive? Oh my God, Jonathan! Oh my God, Jonathan! Oh, Jonathan! Oh my God, Jonathan! What are you talking about, Jonathan? At no point did I say, Jonathan, that the Crystal Palace run to the final was better than Newcastle's. Jonathan! I didn't say that. I said the FA Cup is more prestigious than the Carabao Cup, which is a fact. I never said anything about pathways to the final. What are you talking about, Jonathan? You've ruined it. You've ruined it. Hey, I'll tell you what. I've got a bit of an observation for you. Where do you stand on this? Was it a tournament yesterday for Seb's football team? I went for a walk around and I watched a different game. Under 8s it was. And it's a close game. And the coach subs off one of the players who is, not happy with his performance, but 8. And he sits down, throws his shin pads on the floor and says, I shouldn't have been subbed. The coach leans down to him and says, you've ruined it again. You've ruined it again. You did it last week and you've ruined it again. And all the crowd were a little bit like, what's going on here? Anyway, it transpires it was his son. Where do you stand on that? Petulant behaviour from his son as he gets subbed off. Not very happy with him and said, you've ruined it. I actually thought, you know what? Probably wouldn't do it with anybody else's child because you're probably going to end up getting in trouble. But with your own child, petulantly throwing their shin pads on the floor and sulking, I think, yeah, I'd tell him to go and get his tracksuit on because you're not playing again. Henderson should have been sent off, says Gazzy. But there was people tutting. I hate tutters. I hate tutters. Say something or don't say something. Yeah, Rain, I agree. He's teaching him. It's It's yeah, you know what? When I was a kid, it wouldn't have been you've ruined it. You'd be getting a smacked. Well, I can't remember where you used to get smacked in the 80s. Probably around the fucking ear. You can't even tell your kids off now in public. People are tutting around. Oh, you know what? I felt like going round. God, who let the not who let the dogs out? Who let the bloody grasshoppers out? Sound like a load of rabbits. Who let Bugs Bunny in? What's up, Doc? I was at FC Dallas Derby against Houston. Zero passion. I worry for the World Cup next year. Odd that there are many West Ham and Tottenham fans in Dallas, says Rohan. Thank you, pal. Thank you, Jonathan. Quality content, says Rohan. Thank you very much. From Danelius. Caught up on the super chats there. Really appreciate that. Remember, I have made a pledge on this watch along this Sunday early evening. We're having a great watch along actually. We've had some great conversations going on, but I've made a pledge. I've been moaned at for a lot, probably the last 2 years. You don't do enough content on the Mark Goldbridge channel. It's been the home of Cooking with Goldbridge. It's been the home of Driving with Goldbridge. It's been the home of Career Modes. And people have said you just don't do enough content on there. I've made a pledge. It's on 389,000 subscribers, 200. If it hits 390, I'll bring content back. And I can tell you that we've had 200 subscribers in the last 20 minutes. So if you want to see content back on there, I've left the link in the live chat. Give it a click and subscribe. You might want to go on that channel and go, I didn't know it existed. What an absolute minefield of amazing bangers. It's incredible. But yeah, there is some good stuff on there. But if you want to see content back, give it a subscribe. There was something I was going to say and I've completely forgotten it. Oh, I know what I was going to say. If you think the Premier League is boring now, if you think of holidays and Club World Cups and pre-season tours, forget it, you rude shits. Look at that league table and tell me what's boring about the final day. You've got 45 minutes to go here where Newcastle could still leapfrog Arsenal and put them into third place. But more importantly, the top 5 get Champions League football. Now, Man City will beat Bournemouth on Tuesday. Don't you worry about that. They will get top 5. It's going to be Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle, Man City, which leaves us on Sunday with an end to the season to end the season. Chelsea will be in 5th place. Forest will be in 7th place. They will be separated by a point. The City ground, Chelsea against Forest. If Chelsea can get a draw, they'll stay above them. But Villa could leapfrog them if they win at Old Trafford. However, if Nottingham Forest win, they could leapfrog Chelsea. And if Villa don't win at Old Trafford, they would take Champions League football. It's going to be an end of season to end the season. And I tell you what, Chelsea probably thought they'd done enough with some very good results. They now face an away game against Forest. And look at that. The amazing thing is, Chelsea could be in the Conference League. No one's talking about that. If Chelsea lose and Villa get a point, they'd be in the Conference League. They'd be in 7th place. So, you know, Forest, Villa and Chelsea will kick off next Sunday. One of them will be in the Champions League, one of them will be in the Europa League, and one of them will be in the Conference League. And it could go any way. You could, in the space of 2 hours, you could go from thinking you're going to be playing Mbappe in Real Madrid in the Champions League to playing your mate down the road in the Conference League in a pub car park. It's going to kick off. It's going to be amazing. I'm really excited about it. I say I'm excited about it. I'll still be heavily depressed and closing this channel down if Man United lose on Wednesday. Probably won't be that excited about it, but you could be excited about it. I think it's going to be great. Also, don't forget that we are sponsored by Manscaped. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. 15% off and free worldwide shipping with the code FOOTY. Get that delivered to your door. Thank you very much to Manscaped. Liverpool really ruined the best final day ever, says Richard Cahill. Well, did they? Arsenal ruined it by not getting a striker, I would say. I think Liverpool, when you look at that league table, what did Liverpool do wrong? 83 points isn't a ridiculous total. You would expect a team in second place to be a little bit closer. I think Arsenal not having a striker has cost us a title race. But look, relegation doesn't exist in the Premier League at the moment. It's extinct. I did warn people. You know, I should have done my David Attenborough. At the end of the day, relegation will soon be extinct. 3 teams from the Championship will be getting promoted and going straight back down. In years gone by, 40 points would keep you up. And now they still do. Oh, I've got a cup of tea coming in. Oh. Yeah. Don't know whether it's charged though. Oh, it is. Yeah, I did warn you all, Attenborough style, a few years ago. I said this relegation is going to go extinct. In fact, I'm probably going to get a message from Attenborough going, "You've just ruined my new series about the extinction of the Premier League's relegation race. It's right up there with the Rhino, which isn't extinct yet." Yeah, there is no relegation in the Premier League anymore. So really, we've got top 5 and the title race, and I don't think it's Liverpool's fault that Arsenal didn't buy a striker. From now on, there will be no relegation in the Premier League. It used to exist. No, I better stop doing that because it's like Dyche. I'll forget. Someone is saying Sean Dyche. I haven't done Dyche for ages. I'll tell you what, Mark. I'll tell you for free. If I was manager of Manchester United, I'd win the Grand National and the Premier League. I haven't done Dyche for ages. That was rubbish. It's because I've been doing Sir Jim too much. At the end of the day, Saliba injury. Hopefully it's not a bad one. Doesn't really matter. No, hopefully it's not a long one. Arsenal can be 6th after next weekend, says Jenya. It's not going to happen though, is it? It's not going to happen. Chelsea will be in the Europa for winning the conference, says Goldio. Yes, you're right. And now I get confused. That is confusing. So if Chelsea were to finish in 7th, which is a Europa League spot, which is a Conference League spot. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Figure this one out, right? Okay. Here's a little bit of a game for you. Second half has kicked off. This is going to be one for the geeks, right? At the end of the day, Mark, you've turned it off, Mark. It's my moment and you've turned it off. I can't believe it. Put it back on. This is my moment as a geek to tell everybody what happens. Okay, I'll explain this. Here we go. So imagine Chelsea finish in 7th place. That's Conference League, yeah? But, corner to Arsenal, they win the Conference League, which puts them in the Europa League. What happens then? Because 6th place, let's say it's Villa in the Europa League, do they lose their Europa League spot? Or 8th gets Europe again, and we get 2 Conference League spots? At the end of the day, Mark, my honest thought on this, without running it through the computer and calculator, is that surely, if Chelsea finish 7th and get Conference League football, but they win the Conference League and get Europa League football, they get the Europa League spot as a bonus for winning the Conference League, so that Conference League spot becomes available again. Therefore, dropping to 8th in the Premier League. That's what I think. But what? But I thought we had a Conference League spot for winning the Carabao Cup. So do we get 2 Conference League spots? Does it drop to 9th? I'm confused. Chelsea will be in... Thank you very much for that, though, Goldio. Got a bet with my girlfriend who supports Spurs. If Man United win, I get a morning prize for a week. If I lose, I have to wear a dress and let her peg me. Quite nervous and excited, says Prawn Crackers. You know what? I actually like the jeopardy of that. It's exciting. I mean, I don't think Mrs. Goldbridge would be up for that, but I'd be interested to know what she would be up for. She'd probably say, you've got to take the kids to school every day for a week. No, my luck, but well, it's better than being pegged. But you know what, Prawn Crackers? I've got to say to you and your wife, well done. That is jeopardy. That really is. So you get what you want for a week, and if you lose, she gets to peg you for a week. And it just adds to the excitement of the final, really. It's like having a little bet on the side as well, isn't it? It just makes it more interesting. Somebody in the chat says, what the hell? That it takes all sorts, mate. It does take all sorts. Who's going to win Serie A and fourth there with 2 games left? I think Napoli are going to win the league there. Can we get that special Saturday TV FA Cup final day of the past, says Jason? No, it's gone forever. Thanks for the super chats. Sixth Figures says pegging, ? Yeah, look it up yourself. Google Trends is going to go, what's going on here? Oh, don't worry, it's a Goldbridge watch-along. Can't remember that stream we did where we were talking about things that sound great but aren't. That was a good show. Pearl necklace. Golden shower. They're not what you think they are. Pegging's not putting your washing out. But it's a family. It's only 5:30, so we won't be going there. Gavin, pegging with Goldbridge will not be part of the new content theme. If we hit 390k subscribers, that will not be on there. By the way, if you do want me back doing lifestyle content on the Mark Goldbridge channel, I will have made a pledge that I will do weekly content till the end of the year when we hit 390,000 subscribers, and lots of people are subscribing. So you can do that through the live chat. Of course, there's Gabrielle. Not the singer. She hates football. That would not be a dream come true. She likes nothing more than not watching football. It's like head tennis here, and Pope gets hold of it. Hey, here's a question, and it's football related. Has any other club in the Premier League done what Man United's done? So you know what we're doing? Straight after the Villa game next Sunday, we get on a plane to the other side of the world to play 2 games in Asia and earn 8 million quid. Is there any other club? I know Spurs and Newcastle did it last year, but is anyone else doing it? I mean, I have mentioned it on the United stand, but obviously that's football, and I wanted to know if any other clubs are doing it. I think it's the biggest piss take in football. You know, I think the way even Amrim sold it as it's a great way for us to get, you know, rhythm and stuff like that. Is it bollocks? It's a week where the players could be recuperating, having a week off, and you're taking them to play meaningless friendlies after a long season to basically earn a bit of money. And they're trying to sell it as, oh, it's a positive. It's 8 million quid. It's a cash grab. And what annoys me about it is, and the reason I thought about it was people were talking about Saliba being injury. The amount of injuries you get across the season and the little amount of time that players get off, and you actually try and justify that it's a good idea at the end of a season to hop on a plane to the other side of the world and play 2 games is crazy. Fabian says, do you miss Dean Henderson, Mark? No. It was the right thing for him to go. There wasn't a pathway to the first team, and I'm pleased that he's left Man United and done well. Marcus says, would you like to do any more Goldbridge reacts like that guy who was in love with his car or the woman who drank paint? Well, it's funny you should say that, Marcus, because we have got some content planned in relation to that if and when the Goldbridge channel comes back. We were literally talking about this last week, so keep an eye out for that. My missus doesn't even know Man United playing red. She's clueless, says Oddie. We could use Manscaping the golden shower, says Black Sheep. It is waterproof, Manscaped, but it's not made for that, I don't think. Newcastle on the attack. I tell you what, I've got a feeling Newcastle are going to win and go second. Would you ever cook for Chef Ramsay to rate, says 90? I'll tell you what, it'd be brilliant content. But I tell you what, if he started swearing it and getting in my face, the big un, I'd say, oh, back off, coffee breath. You stink like shit. See what happens then. I reckon I could make Ramsay snap. I could make him snap like a piece of spaghetti that's not been cooked. Here's something that's not what it sounds like. Waterboarding in Guantanamo Bay, says the boy. Someone always wants to get serious. If Chelsea win the conference, top 9 get some form of Europe in addition to United or Spurs in the Champions League and also Palace in the Europa for respective wins. I'm confused, Goldio. So, right, top 5 get Champions League football because we've been given a bonus spot. 6th place gets Europa because we have a Europa spot, I think, in the Premier League. 7th place is a Carabao spot because Newcastle are already in the Champions League, having won the Carabao Cup. 8th becomes Conference League if Chelsea win the Europa League, the Conference League, and go into the Europa League. Goal! What a goal by Declan Rice! What a goal by Declan Rice! That's a banger! That's an absolute banger. I tell you what, just when I said I think Newcastle are going to win this game, Declan Rice has probably just secured 2nd place for Arsenal. That moment. Look at them lucky fans in the sun. Imagine, look at that. Just a little selection of them in the sun and the rest are in the shade. I want to see this again. I mean, Newcastle have played well. Yeah, I think with Isak, Newcastle would have won this, but Anthony Gordon loses it. Odegaard, Rice. I think Pope should do better. Pope should do better. It's a lovely hit by Declan Rice. I just don't think Pope's at full stretch. He's almost arm out hailing a cab. I think he needs to be a little bit more, I'm saving this. But lovely goal by Declan Rice. And it's 1-0 to the Arsenal here. So, yeah, Goldio's saying top 9 can get Europe now. I'm completely lost. I feel like I need to clarify this, which I will. McSauce could be a champion today, says Tisardi. And what are your thoughts on instead of 4th or 5th getting Champions League football, we got the FA Cup winners to get that spot. Surely it's one of the only ways we can get the FA Cup taken seriously again, says Sutton. No. No, I disagree. The Champions League is the elite European tournament and it should go to those who, over a 38-game season, prove that they're the top 5 teams in England. Ultimately, that's what UEFA have decided. They want the Champions League contestants to be the top 5 top 5 clubs in any given country, or 4 or 3. So the league is what proves that. So it must be the league, in my opinion. We can't sacrifice a place just to make the FA Cup more glamorous. It would make the FA Cup more glamorous, I agree, but I don't think the UEFA would ever fall for that one. I think it adds to the jeopardy for the final, brother Mark. Thank you for the laughs. Good knows I need a good laugh today, says V. Thank you very much, pal. Appreciate that. Oh, about the pegging. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. So Newcastle would need 2 goals now if they want 2nd place. Still could happen. Still could happen. Gavin says it's a load of crap being called the Champions League. Trust me, Gavin, you might not be old enough. You might be a chuff monster. If you are somebody that thinks the European Cup or Champions League should go back to only being the champions of their country, you miss the Champions League in seconds. it's a shit tournament when it's only the title holders that play in it. It really is. Because what happens is, you get Liverpool in it next year, and then Man City or Arsenal are quite clearly the best team in England, and Liverpool are contesting it. The great thing about the Champions League is 99% of the time, the best teams in each season are competing in it. Saka, good shot, blocked. Let me see if I can find this out while we're live. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Make sure you subscribe to That's Football. We are close to 330,000. We're about 50 away. So, which Premier League teams will qualify for the Champions League? Thanks to England's strong UEFA place, we know the top 5 get it. As it stands, it would be Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle, Chelsea and Aston Villa. Europa League would be Man City and Crystal Palace, because Man City are currently in 6th and Crystal Palace won it. Conference League would be Nottingham Forest in 7th, and then Man United or Tottenham will also get a spot. That's how things are at the moment. If Chelsea win the Conference League and then finish 7th and Newcastle finish inside the top 6, or Chelsea finish 6th and Newcastle 7th, 8th place in the Premier League will qualify for Europe. That's currently Brentford, with Brighton and Bournemouth just behind them in the table. So there is still a bit of a race going on there, yeah. So effectively, if Chelsea win the Europa League, Conference League, there'll be an extra spot, yeah? I think that's right. I don't know. It'll all make sense next week, I think. Nick P says, yes, the United end of season mini tour is pointless, but part of me likes the idea of delaying their luxury holidays after the season they just gave us. Yeah, and hopefully we'll be getting a load of new players who won't be on that tour anyway. Here's Saka. Newcastle just seem to have lost their way a little bit, and it's an easy save for Pope. Should relegation be 5 to make it more exciting, says Richard. God, no. No. What does Eddie Howe have on his feet? Says Nud. I don't know. I'm not seeing. Is Declan Rice world class, says Nestface. Let's run a poll. Wisconsin blow dryer is the future, Mark, says Nicholas. I ain't Googling that. Corner to Newcastle. I think relegation is hard to solve in the Premier League. You know, Wrexham are going to get promoted and buy Tom Carney, who's 34 from Fulham. You've got to be bringing in players that are going to keep you in the Premier League. That's the only way you're going to stay in the Premier League. I mean, you know it and I know it. Sheffield United or Sunderland are going straight down. Whoever wins that playoff is going straight back down. Burnley are highly likely to go back down. Leeds have a chance. But if you're a betting person, you're going to say 3 up, 3 down. And that's really sad, because that would be the 3rd year in a row. And people hate it when you predict it. But I've predicted it for the last 2 years, and I've been right, and I will predict it again. I can't see. The question is, who falls in? And I don't see it. Look, I don't think Man United and Spurs will be as bad next season. And I just don't see Everton with Moyes going down. I think Wolves are a lot better now. I just can't see a team that's going to... Look, when was the last time a newly promoted team got 35 points as well? They just can't do it. And that wouldn't be enough to stay up anyway. Mark G says, how do you think Alonso will get on at Madrid? I'm interested to see. I think Flick at Barcelona is doing a fantastic job, and I listened to that interview with Yamal, and I heard what Rafinha said when they got knocked out by Inter, and I certainly think this Barcelona project... Look, sometimes, especially in La Liga, you can win La Liga, and then the next year you fall off. I think the Barcelona project looks like a project, when you listen to those players, whereby they want to build on it for years and years and years. So Real Madrid have got some fantastic players. Obviously, they've took Hulsen from Bournemouth. La Liga might be getting its... MG again. I'm back. Oh, it was worth it. They've obviously listened. MG, Mark Goldbridge. There it is. Sponsorship at the Emirates. Yeah, I think the Real Madrid Barcelona rivalry will always be there, but it might be interesting next season. Hansi Flick's gone in there and done a good job straight away. So Alonso, what you need to solve at Real Madrid is how you utilise Mbappe, because I think Real Madrid would have been a lot better team this year if they hadn't bought Mbappe. Will Man United be able to handle the Champions League and the league next year? Will midweek football prove a problem? This is Bigfoot. It's a problem that I think we need to endure, mate. I mean, I was thinking about it the other day. How many teams are going to be in Europe next season? And how's that going to impact the top 5 race? Newcastle, I think, really need to expand their squad. Otherwise, they're going to struggle. Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City will be more than capable. Chelsea, depends what tournament they're in. Villa and Newcastle will be in Europe. So there's a lot of teams that are going to have to deal with Europe and the Premier League next season. And you wonder about, is there a team that could benefit from that? I don't think the likes of Brightons and Bournemouths and Brentfords and Fulhams are capable. Look, one of Man United or Spurs won't be in Europe at all next season. What I'm saying is, can they get themselves together enough to take advantage of the fact that everybody else is going to be playing in Europe and get themselves in the top 5? I think it's a huge ask for Man United or Spurs to go in the top 5 next season, whether they're in Europe or not. I think the damage of this season and where they finished in the league is where they deserve to finish. It's very difficult to go from like 16th and 17th into the top 5. And people will say, well, Leicester did it and Forest did it, but I you know, they've been more a shock. I think Spurs and Man United have got bigger problems than that. Who will be the next Spurs manager? Chris says Kivior has been an excellent stand-in. I think he's been really good. Really good, yeah. What if we reduce the count of Premier League teams to 18, says Hardick? They'd never do it for financial reasons. I mean, I'm sure the early Premier League used to be 22, didn't it? Ten Hag won't be Spurs' next coach. No chance. Absolutely no chance. The current odds are Glasner. I mean, God, look at these. The top 3 favourites to be the next Spurs manager are Glasner, Parker, and Thomas Frank. I mean, you don't want to go anywhere near Scott Parker. I know he's done a good job at Burnley, but come on, you can't go anywhere near him. That would be a big mistake. Frank or Glasner makes sense, but I can see both getting sacked. Southgate's the place to go, definitely. Gareth Southgate would be perfect, but he is not even in your top 10. Oddie Grass says, is Rice world class? Is my recyclable beer yellow? Says Oddie. Look, I think Declan Rice is one of the best midfielders in his position in Europe. And your parameters of world class will decide that. You know, I think Saka's world class. I've said that for a while now. I think we're very good at downplaying Premier League players. But when you think of it outside of the Premier League, there's not an abundance of world class players because sometimes they're... Oh, what a shot by White. I'd love to see Gareth Southgate at Spurs. I'd just love to see what would happen. They won't do it. They're not that stupid. Good shot by Ben White. But you know what I mean? I think we're really good in this country of downplaying what we have in the Premier League. The Premier League is the best league in the world. It's the most intense. It's got the most fierce competition. And you know, you go to La Liga, beyond Real Madrid and Barcelona, and they're not jam-packed with world-class players either. That's pretty much it. You know, PSG in the French league, that's pretty much it. Bayern Munich in the German league, that's pretty much it. And Italy, there's a sprinkling of world-class players, but there's not an abundance. In the Premier League, we have got players that are world-class. And is Declan Rice one of the best players in the Premier League this year? Yes, he is. So I would say he's world-class, yeah. La Liga is better than the Premier League. It really isn't, Manjeet. Your fourth best team got beaten 6-1 over 2 legs by Manchester United, who are 16th. Arsenal beat Real Madrid. But that's not the only reason the Premier League is stronger than La Liga. Because that's not actually the reason. PSG might be the best team in Europe. It doesn't mean the French league's the best. It's not about how good your best teams are. It's about the depth of competition. And the Premier League has got more intensity than any other league. And that's why it's the most viewed. Barcelona and Real Madrid are fantastic teams and they can hold a torch up to any team in the Premier League. But the Premier League is the best league in the world because of the intensity, the depth of talent. Of course it is. You forget that because Pep is bold, Kim K got a new Pope is American. We actually get 12 European spots in the Prem now. Scoldio, okay. Omar says, genuinely as a United fan, would you rather place 15th again next season but win an FA Cup or get top 4 and be trophyless? Top 4, thank you, Omar. When Rice actually wins something other than the Europa Conference with West Ham, then I may entertain him being world class. Nah, it's not about that though, is it, mate? George Best was world class. He never played in the World Cup. Mic drop. It's not about what you win. Yamal wouldn't survive in the Premier League, says Basu. I'd like to see him try. My big concern about Yamal is that when I have said this before, when you look at Ronaldo and Messi, the thing that made them great was obviously their talent, but also their longevity. They very rarely got injured. And that meant that year on year, they were just amazing. I just don't know in the modern game whether that's possible. The fixture calendar is way more intense. There is no break. The tournaments are longer. The Champions League that Messi and Ronaldo played in was considerably shorter than what it is now. And the demands on the players are are bigger. So the issue with Yamal is burnout, injury. I think it's impossible to replicate what Messi and Ronaldo did year on year for such a long period of time for any modern player. But I'd love to see him in the Premier League. I get the feeling we won't see him in the Premier League. I'd love to have seen Messi in the Premier League as well. I just don't see Yamal leaving Barcelona. I can't see where he would go, who could afford him. This second half's gone by a lot quicker. Rain says Yamal's already played 100 games at 17. It's incredible, isn't it? Well, we are only 16 subscribers away from 330,000 on That's Football. So if you had not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do. Bottom right-hand corner to do it. Help us get to 330k. And don't forget that we have got daily content on here. The daily transfer show is back. We do that every day, especially in the week. So get involved. Of course, next Sunday, I am going to do a Conference League watch-along. We've got the Champions League final watch-along as well to come over the next few weeks. There will be some Club World Cup stuff. I mean, like, I'm jumping into that like everybody else. I'll watch probably the knockout games and a sprinkling of the group games, but it's strange. It's a strange concept. I'm looking forward to the razzmatazz and what they do in the States for it. I mean, I presume all these games are sold out in the States. Maybe some of our American colleagues in the chat can tell us. But I still find it weird that you've got a Club World Cup without Arsenal, Liverpool and Barcelona in it. Early prediction for the Europa League final, says Jimmy. Man United win. Bruno G. Over the bar. Harvey Barnes. Isaac says, as a United fan, the Premier League is boring compared to Serie A. Okay, well, that's a very niche argument. I disagree. Thank you very much. Jara says, at the moment, would you take Havertz over Rasmus at United? If they were both fit, you'd have to take Havertz, yeah. Havertz is actually coming on here. What's going on with Cunha, Mark, says Foga. I think we're just waiting until after Wednesday to announce it. You know, a bit of PR spin if we lose, a bit of a boost if we win for the start of the summer transfer window. I think it's just all about timing. In fact, it might not even happen on Thursday. It might be on Monday after the final game. Maybe Cunha doesn't want to announce it until after the final game of the season. I tell you what I think is interesting, though. With regards to this Club World Cup, FIFA are really, really hot on signings being made before the Club World Cup. Now, as I understand it, Trent won't play for Liverpool, won't play for Real Madrid in the Club World Cup, will he? Because his contract with Liverpool doesn't actually end until the end of June. So I don't actually know of any players that have been signed as new for the Club World Cup yet. Mark, I think Parker is all right. He was at Bournemouth for a bit and didn't go too well, but he's not a bad manager. We need more going for Goldbridge, says Yaj. Thank you very much for your super chat. Is Declan Rice world class? 61% of you say yes. We need more going for Goldbridge. Yaj, it's in the hands of you lot. I've put a link in the live chat. If you want more going for Goldbridge, cooking with Goldbridge and that type of content, once the channel hits 390k subscribers, I'll bring it back. It's about 600 away at the moment, so it's in your hands. There's 11,000 of you watching. It could be back tomorrow. Click the link in the live chat and subscribe. Thank you for your super chat, Yaj. At the moment, would you have done that one? Thank you very much as well. I have got a poll for you here. Here's an either or. Gyökeres or Osimhen? Osimhen's likely to go to Saudi. Gyökeres is likely to go to, well, Arsenal, I would say. But if you could choose any for your team, both fantastic strikers, by the way. I mean, they're both... I think Osimhen's actually younger by a few months than Gyökeres. Who would you go for? Free kick here for Newcastle. Be nice for them to score. Set it up nice, interestingly for the last 10 minutes. Who do I think is going to get the last Champions League spot? Well, we've been talking about this a little bit, Kev. I still think it will be Chelsea. I think Chelsea might win at the City Ground, to be honest. But the fact that they're going to have to work for it, I think it is going to make it very, very interesting. Let us know in the chat. We will actually we'll run a poll on that in a moment. I think Scott Parker at Spurs will fail Yaj. By the way, I think it would be a bad appointment. I don't even know what Spurs need at that football club. I mean, if they could take anybody, I think someone like a Hansi Flick would be good. Nagelsmann would be good. I'm not so sure another potential is not good enough for Spurs. Like, they need somebody. They've just got too many light switch players there. Their whole mentality of Spurs is wrong. Like, it's in their DNA to be inconsistent, isn't it? But if they were to win on Wednesday, and I hope they don't, then they would have Champions League football and they would have money. Bringing Scott Parker into that would be a mistake. You need to try and get the best you can get. This might be controversial, but I think Goncalves and Trincao for a combined fee of 50 million would be better business than just signing Cunha, says Mitesh. Interesting. No, I know Flick's not going to go to Spurs poetry in motion. That wasn't what I was saying. What I'm saying is I feel like Spurs need to bring in somebody with authority. And I don't think that person actually exists. Scott Parker's a good coach. What? Because he got promoted with Burnley. I mean, you're the same sort of twats that fall for Nathan Jones hipster and Vincent Kompany hipster. Scott Parker at Spurs will fail. Make that mistake. Do it. There's no skin off my nose. In fact, bring him in for the Europa League final. Please do. In a hypothetical where you own Everton, what do you do about the manager? Not convinced Moyes is a great long-term fit. No, I don't understand, Jacob, why Everton keep going for these dinosaur coaches who will be effective but never bring you up into the modern days. David Moyes has done a decent job at Everton, but the football's never going to be great. The same complaints happened at West Ham. I suppose it's about, do you want to survive and finish mid-table with football that's not really that good? Or do you want to try and build something that, you know, is a risk, but you might build something? I mean, if you look at Brighton, Fulham, Bournemouth, Brentford, they all play good football. Their fans get entertained. I'm surprised Everton, with the football club and the fan base and the history that they have, I'm really surprised they've been so slow on the uptake of bringing in a manager like Brighton have and Fulham have and Brentford have and Bournemouth have. It surprises me that they just keep going for the Dyches and the Moises, and they haven't gone for that sort of stylistic manager. I mean, it can fail, but it hasn't failed at Brighton. They've had a few. It hasn't failed at Brentford with Frank. It hasn't failed at Bournemouth. But Everton seem to be resistant to that. Maybe it's because of previous owners where it's just more important to stay in the Premier League. Ooh. Cross in by Newcastle, but cleared away by Arsenal. As Charles says, I think it's the finances at Everton. They have to do, you know, I understand that reason. It's about getting the most out of what you've got, in which case people like Sean Dyche and David Moyes will do the basics and keep you in the league. Is Dele Alli still an Everton player? I mean, it's not going to keep me awake at night, but... Robert says, do you actually talk about the match at all? We normally do. We do, Robert. We normally do, to be fair. But when we don't, it's because it's been a little bit flat, really. But it's been a great comment section, as always. Really enjoyed it. He's at Como now. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I'm on the United stand at 8. It could happen to any one of us. Okay. Okay, so Jokeres has won with 70% of the vote over Osman. Let me end the poll, and we're going to finish the stream in the next few minutes with probably the poll I should have done at the start. But anyway, we'll do it now. Who will get the final UCL spot? Chelsea, Forest, Villa. I don't think people are talking about Villa enough. I think if Man United win on Wednesday, I mean, we're shit in the Premier League anyway. I can't see us being that good either way. If we lose, I think we'll be so depressed we'll be shit. And if we win, I think we'll be so happy we'll be shit. So I can see Villa winning at Old Trafford. Which would mean as long as Chelsea don't win, they would get that final spot. So Villa have got a chance. Forest would need to beat Chelsea and Villa not to beat United, which isn't impossible. And if Chelsea beat Forest, they'll get it. So it's it really is difficult to pick who's going to get it. Willock should have scored there, says Constantine. What about Gattuso at Spurs? It'd be interesting to watch, but I don't think it would go well. Anu says, I'm rooting for Villa to get Champions League spot. I'd like Villa to get it out of the 3. I think it's incredible that Villa have won so many games in the last 10 and still can't get in the top 5. What about Forest, Mark? I think it's romantic, but I think they would be. I think they'd really struggle to deal with Champions League football and the Premier League. But Villa have had the Champions League. Chelsea will have done well to get it, considering the enormous amount of noise that some of their fans have made this year. Apparently, it's a shit season, but Champions League football and the Conference League would be a decent season for them. Cole says, no top manager would want to go to Spurs with Daniel Levy in charge. Charles says, can you see Newcastle winning the league in the next few years? Not unless they can get that Saudi money. Romano update on Amorim, says Pess. What? He's not going to leave Man United. Oh, what an update. Here we go. Manchester United won't be sacking Ruben Amorim this summer. Here we go. Breaking news. Ornstein, have that. I mean, come on. We know that. We know he's not getting sacked in the summer. Oh, he has been sacked. Well, that isn't. No, I'm joking. Chelsea beat Forest, Man United beat Spurs, and Rubens Reds score a 5-4 draw, 5-5 draw against Forest to show that we're back in the Prem, brother. Says V. I'll tell you what I mean, brother. Hulk Hogan. You're really sure enough that Man City will make it to not put them in the poll, says Kenya. Well, look, let me show you the league table. Like, I don't include Man City in this, and I've been getting it wrong about Man City all season. But their final 2 games are Bournemouth at home and Fulham away. I can see them getting 4 points, which will put them on 69, which will put them in there. I can't see Bournemouth getting anything. Bergvall back for the final. No, he's not. But Mark, I've been sub since its inception. Come guys, get going. Let's make it happen. By the way, I think Newcastle have done well, all things considered. Is how enough to take Newcastle beyond steadying the ship. Newcastle just need money, mate. And they've got loads of money. They just can't get it into the club with FFP. So they've got to consistently qualify for the Champions League. But in fairness to Eddie Howe, they have qualified for the Champions League 2 out of the last 3 years. Man City might bottle top 5 if they don't win both, says Anukesh. I think they'll win 1, draw 1, which will be enough, won't it? I mean, if they beat Bournemouth, puts them on 68, but lose to Fulham, and Chelsea and Villa win, they would be out. But I think they'll win 1, draw 1. I mean, the fact that Man City have a little bit of nerves around getting into the top 5 just shows you that my video was absolutely spot on. They have had a season in crisis. What's happening with the City 115, says Chris. Nobody knows. Louis says, what's happened with Forest? They were number 3 for almost the entire season. Well, they'd won 1 out of their last 6 Premier League games before today. And, you know, you think about that, that's a hell of a lot of points to drop at a very important time. It's that lack of experience, isn't it? It's hard to say they've bottled it because they haven't bottled it. How do you bottle something that you were nowhere near favourites to get? But really, yeah, the last 5 games has hurt them a lot. But it's still in their hands. Like, if they were to win, it's still in their hands. 5 minutes added on here. We're in London, aren't we? This is Prajit. Amir says, what's your strongest 11 lineup for Man United's Europa League final? We just have to watch the preview. I'm not going to give that away on That's Football, am I? Thanks everybody who's subscribed to the Mark Goldbridge channel. We're not quite on 390, but it is moving in the right direction. So hopefully we will start doing some content on there. If you want to, give a subscribe, and we will be putting some content on there hopefully very soon. Thank you everybody for that. When's the preview? It's Sunday. I don't really start planning the week ahead on a Sunday, but I would say it probably needs to be going out tomorrow, doesn't it, really? So Arsenal, as predicted by me, will get 2nd place. Newcastle came and had a go, but Arsenal have managed to get over the line. Ray has gone down injured here. Someone tell him to get up. Clean sheets this season. David Ray has had 12. Sells at Forest has had 13. Who do you think is going to win the Ballon d'Or? I don't really know, actually, who's going to win the Ballon d'Or. I mean, I think it probably should be Rafinha, based on the season he's had. But it could be Yamal. I don't think it really matters. I don't massively respect it. I've seen people win it when they shouldn't have won it. Gyökeres just following Bruno Fernandes' Instagram. What does that mean, says Seth? Well, Bruno Fernandes used to play for Sporting. Could mean that. Knowing FIFA, it'll be Rodri, says Carl. 8 o'clock on the United stand, yes. Alex says it should be Salah, but we'll go to one of the Barca lads. Ladios says Mobland's pretty good. It is. I watched Warrior again last night. That's a really good film. It's got Tom Hardy in it as well. If PSG win the Champions League, it'll be Dembele. Shouldn't be dictated to by like that, should it? Do you think there's any chance of Newcastle dropping out of the top 5? No. Never ever go against Newcastle at St James's Park. And although they look like they could be in jeopardy, Newcastle, because they've got 66 points, the same as Chelsea and Villa, they're home to Everton, and they'll beat Everton, and that will put them into the Champions League. So, yeah, they don't need to worry. They'll be fine. Here's Martinelli. I tell you what, I know it's at the end of the stream here, but I do think Martinelli's a problem for Arsenal. I just can't see him being the player he was meant to be. Decent squad player, not convinced he's a starter in a Premier League winning side. I might get proven wrong next year, but I just don't think Martinelli ever looks like a player that's good enough to win a title. I think he's a bench player in a title winning side. Works hard, decent player, but I just think you want a little bit more from a player. I'm not being harsh, Kelly. I think he's a decent player. I just don't think in a team that's going to win the league, I think you want a little bit more. I've always said that. I've always said it. Into stoppage time here. Pope pumps it forward. Raya punches it away. And here is Martinelli. He might silence me here, but no. Tackle. Another corner here for Newcastle at the end. Nick Pope's come up for it. Thanks to everyone who's tuned in today. Let me just remind you, we did have a little poll running who will get the final Champions League spot. 42% have gone with Chelsea, 36% have gone with Villa, 23% have gone with Forest. Remember, Forest are at home against Chelsea, and if they were to win, it would be in their hands. And watching Chelsea play against Man United without Nicholas Jackson, it was kicking off again here. They weren't that good. Lots of pushing and shoving again. Fabrizio Romano time. Yeah. Just lots of pushing. Just blow the whistle, says United. Yeah. Same as the Forest West Ham game. Load of pushing at the end, and you just sort of like blow the whistle. Blow the whistle. What happened with the Osman poll, says Caleb? 69% went with Gyökeres over Osman. Just end it, says Say. GG. You've asked the same question a million times. You know what's going to happen. You're out. Goodbye. Don't need to keep repeating the question. If I see it and I'm not answering, it's because it's boring. Ray has just secured Arsenal's third second-place trophy in a row. He's a goat, says Robbo96. Well, at least if you're an Arsenal fan, you're not going to get ridiculed tonight with bottling second place. I mean, it doesn't mean you can celebrate second place, but let's be honest, Newcastle started the game quite well. What's this referee doing? He's blowing the final whistle. Thank God for that. Arteta's celebrating second place. He's got his top off. He's hugging everyone. It's probably relief, really. Probably just relief. If they'd lost to Newcastle and lost second place, it would have been Arteta out FC. It would have been a night of Arteta out, and he's probably there going, at least the haters are silenced. Let's get on with the summer. Thank you everybody for watching. Just a little reminder, there's a link in the live chat. A lot of people are always moaning about career mode, driving with Goldbridge, cooking with Goldbridge. If you want it back, it'll be back when we hit 390k. You can subscribe by clicking the link in the live chat. A few of you have. Thank you very much for that. And as soon as we hit 390, we will bring it back. So make sure you click the link and subscribe to the Goldbridge channel. And hopefully that will be back very soon. I've made that pledge. I will start loading up weekly. Take care, everyone. I'm on the United stand at 8 o'clock. Thank you very much for watching. I'll speak to you all in a bit.